You are now about to witness the strength of nerd knowledge. Hey everybody, it's Ian.
And Hank.
And we are back for, what is this, episode 6?
Episode 6.
Of Two Book Nerds and a Microphone.
That's right, your, I wanted to say weekly dose of
it's everything not exactly
nerd.
Weekly, but you know.
We played a little fast and loose with our release schedule, but
yeah.
we're hoping to get that better together.
School's out, so maybe...
School's out for Christmas! Yeah.
I'm not gonna make the joke.
Don't make the joke.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how's it going?
Well, I'm out of school now, and I'm working 2 jobs, so... Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah? Paying those taxes.
Yep.
Paying those taxes.
That I may get like 5% of when I retire. After they pull everything out of my check, so, you know...
Yeah.
It's cool, though. I'll be rich by then. It won't matter.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'll be Bruce Wayne. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, what cool has happened over the last week and a half or so?
I got a Kindle Fire.
Yeah?
That was nice. It's so pretty and shiny.
Yeah?
I like it.
What are you reading on it?
What do you think I'm reading on it?
Dresden Files.
I just finished Death Masks the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I'm trying to start with the Lightbringer so I can give myself a little bit of a break, kind of explore new avenues, but I'm already on book 6.
Now, you were starting on Lightbringer, you said?
I haven't gotten into it yet, but...
The Black Prism,
Black Prism.
One? Yeah, last time I told you that I was going to make Noah read the first book in The Wheel of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that lasted, I think, a page and a half.
And then he's like, nope.
And he saw me reading The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, the first book in the Lightbringer trilogy. And he inhaled that 680-page book in
4 days?
About 4 days. Yeah, and
I'm just sitting there like, what?
Yeah, and he made everybody in the house take the quiz to see what color drafter they are.
I'm blue.
And
I'm like the Green Lantern, but blue. That's
there,
basically...
There are a lot of parallels.
It's like...
And I'm just going to say...
Yeah.
Not direct parallel, not... Yeah, but it's a good way to
I know more
explain
about the mechanics of magic in this book than I do in the Green Lantern comics because of him. Apparently, magic can be liquid, solid, or like ethereal or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can play with ultraviolet light. How, you don't even see that. How do you do that? What? Okay.
Maybe you're part cat. I don't know. Can cats see ultraviolet light?
Bees can.
Bees can't.
Bzz.
That's kind of cool. So I'm about halfway through the Black Prism, and Noah just completely ran off and left me, and he'll say something, and I'll say, no, spoilers.
He's pretty bad about that, actually.
Because...
oh my gosh!
That's all he's talked about for a week and a half.
Yeah.
That's all he's talked about.
Like, I probably know things that happen in chapter 75 and I'm not supposed to know yet, and I still have no bearing of what that means yet, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that happened. Couple of movie trailers have come out.
Oh, yes.
Was the Batman Superman trailer out last time we recorded?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say it wasn't, just because I want to talk about it again.
Right.
Because Doomsday.
Yeah, how about that Doomsday?
How about we have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Doomsday, Lex Luthor, all in the same movie. At the same time. I'm a little emotional right now, actually. I've already shed my tears over this, so I'm not going to do it right now because, you know, I can hold it in.
Right.
But that night when I got home from work and I sat in my bedroom about like 1 o'clock in the morning and I saw that trailer, I have no problem telling you I wept like a little girl. I have no problem saying that at all.
There's no pride.
There's
no pride.
It's Batman fighting the crap out of Superman, with Wonder Woman beating the crap out of Doomsday, who is apparently Zod, and Lex Luthor's behind it all. And apparently there's a bigger threat than Doomsday that they're keeping top secret.
How about they put the rocks or bricks or whatever it is in Doomsday? Like when you see the still shot, you see the rocks and bricks like protruding out of him.
Now, are those rocks and bricks, or is like bone structure?
No, it's like the stuff that he's like made of. Like straight out of Death of Superman. It's like crazy.
The face looks a little different, and he doesn't.
Well, I mean, the concept is right out of.
Everybody's mad about it, and I'm like, we just got Doomsday in a movie. We've been waiting on this since 1998. You want to complain that his face looks a little weird?
Yeah.
You got Doomsday in a movie. Shut up and watch the movie.
Right. Can I just say that when Wonder Woman pops in, and they're like,
I thought she was with you.
That was great.
Like the look on Affleck's face, like, oh, there's more. Great.
And I'm Team Batfleck at this point. Like I'm on board.
Yeah. I mean, I was on board when they announced it, but now I'm even more so.
The more I see him in that gray Frank Miller costume,
Dark Knight Returns.
Oh my gosh! I just, whoo, yeah.
How about the Civil War trailer?
Yeah, we just rewatched it a few minutes ago, and yeah, it looks good.
I don't think it's going to be anything like the Civil War storyline in the comic books.
No.
Which I don't understand why they call it Civil War then, but...
Yeah, me too. Because that was... and I get it. There's movie rights that are all torn apart, and
You're having
one studio has this, one studio has that. And so, all of the X-Men are pulled out. That's half of your Marvel universe.
The Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four's
Reed Richards is pivotal in that.
Yeah. And apparently they've got Spider-Man back for it, but...
They're sharing them with Sony.
Well, it's the wrong Spider-Man in that...
He's too young.
Well, he's too young and his motivations
are different. He's a 10th grade science teacher in the comics, and he's like in 10th grade now.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm still excited that he's going to be in there with the Avengers, but...
Yeah.
I feel like... I don't know how it's going to work with Black Panther being the Spider-Man fill-in for Tony Stark in this. I don't know how that's going to work, but okay.
How about the Black Panther looks great, though?
How about he's like the Batman of Marvel now?
His costume, like his...
I want one.
Everything about it looks like really cool.
You should not pick a fight with this guy.
You should not pick a fight with this guy. I don't know. So I'm glad to see... Black Panther. I think that's going to be uber cool.
I don't know a whole lot about him, but I'm looking forward to learning more about him.
I'm glad Spider-Man's going to be in it. That's going to be cool. Even, I don't know. I guess I made the mistake of reading, the Civil War storyline.
And expecting too much from the movie.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a good movie, I'm sure.
It's going to be good. It's going to be a big punch fest. A
bunch of big explosions and testosterone and everything.
So you got Batman v Superman. So you've got the two Titans going up against each other, which is something we have hoped...
Krypton versus the Bat of Gotham.
Which is something we've hoped for, since Dark Knight Returns, and since ever. But, Frank Miller really,
made us want to see that.
They did that animated version of that a year or two ago, and that was great.
Just builds the hype more for the live-action thing.
Yeah. So then you've got, Marvel Civil War, which is going to be coming out close to the same time. So you're going to have, you guys can go watch these two guys punch it out, or you can come over here, we've got all of our guys fighting it out.
Right.
And then we just watched the X-Men Apocalypse trailer, which just looks like another giant punch fest.
It's like, that's all we're getting right now.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the Batman Superman movie is going to move past that quickly and get down into the nitty-gritty of the Justice League, and... And
the Flash is confirmed as a cameo.
Right. So,
I think
I don't know. I'm all for these big team ups and all that. I just, if it
make sure there's a story in there.
Yeah, once it dissolves into, well, we're just going to punch each other, I lose interest pretty quickly. I'm just
like, why are you punching each other?
Right,
Can you explain that to me?
I'm just kind of over that, But yeah, anyway. So, the fact that we live in a time where we can sit here and quibble
about all these superheroes being in the same movie?
Yeah. That's pretty nuts. I remember as a kid there was a long time between any superhero movies. You had the Dick Donner Superman movie, then you had Superman 2, and then you had to wait till 1989 for the Batman movie.
And now we just got one cranking out one after the other.
It was long dry spells, and forget a team up, that's just wasn't going to happen.
No.
So yeah, it's a great time. Oh, and let me tell you what I'm more excited for than any of the big budget movies.
Which one?
And that's what's going on TV right now.
The Legends of Tomorrow?
Oh my gosh.
How about they took a whole bunch of C-list characters and they're going to do something awesome with it?
Well, how about Marvel did that already?
Well, yeah, but now they're trying to follow that formula and it looks like it's going to be freaking awesome.
Oh man.
How many people do you know talk about Hawkgirl and Hawkman?
The fact that we saw Hawkgirl and Hawkman on TV
together flying
in a recurring, like what?
Like you don't,
and we're gonna get
what
20 hours of it or what? I mean, there's gonna be a full season. Like, what the crap?
Like, all right,
that's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Like 5 years ago, no one would give a second thought to seeing these people on TV, and now they're gonna do this, and I'm like, all right, it's a good time to be alive.
It's a good time to be alive. It is.
And how about all this stuff is coming out right around my 21st birthday? It's like God's trying to tell me something. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like, happy birthday to you. Yeah. Thanks.
I could,
like Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman all in the same, time period. How about we got Star Wars coming out in, 4 or 5 days?
Is it opening early in other countries this week?
I don't know.
Or is it all... Let's see, we're recording this Tuesday evening.
On the 15th.
I think Ben Lockridge said he's going midnight Thursday night.
Yeah, because it's technically a Friday opening, so yeah.
So we're almost 48 hours away from new real Star Wars. From the apparent, which you got to be on TV yesterday talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ben was like, "Hey, are you busy?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, not at the moment." He's like, "Cool, come talk to me about Star Wars." And I'm like, "All right, that's cool."
Ben Lockridge, for those of you that don't know, is a local news celebrity.
Oh yes.
Who called upon us for our geek
he called upon me,
nerd cred. Well, he asked me first, but I was busy yesterday and I couldn't go. So I sent my protege
to fill in for you.
To fill in for me.
I did not disappoint, I hope.
So shout out to Ben.
What's up?
Yeah. So do you know what? With so many good movies coming out and so much good television, folks need to be boning up on their comics history.
Yes.
And one way they can do that is by going to Amazon.com, ordering,
through the link on your website.
Right. Go to HankGarner.com, click on the link, go and purchase Marvel Civil War so you can be up to speed on what story it should have been.
Purchase every Batman issue written by Scott Snyder in the past 4 years. Do yourself a favor and do that.
Yeah.
And let's see, who writes Superman right now?
Gene Yang.
Read all of those. Who's writing Flash right now? Because that's a great series.
Venditti and someone else. And Venditti is also Robert Venditti is writing Green Lantern.
It's like ever since the DCU reboot, Flash has gone up in my book. Like, wow.
Yeah, it's a great.
I don't know what they're doing, but they need to keep doing it.
And you can get those from Amazon.com by going to HankGarner.com and clicking through,
which gives us a little bit of a cut,
Yeah, well, it allows, as we learned last time, it allows Ian to buy chicken nuggets.
It was a sandwich.
It was a sandwich, probably a spicy sandwich.
It was a spicy sandwich, actually. No pickles on it either. If you were here right now, you would see the look of disapproval on his face because I absolutely despise pickles. And he is a pickle fanatic. so we're kind of at odds
I'm
with
not
each
a pickle
other.
fanatic. I just really appreciate pickles.
You
Dill
eat
pickles.
anything pickled, okay? You
No,
will eat
no, no,
sauerkraut out of a jar.
Yes.
That's nasty. That's
No, sauerkraut is delicious.
No, you can keep telling yourself that.
It's like shredded dill pickles.
Which is exactly why it's disgusting.
Now, sweet pickles or
Ew.
bread and butter pickles, those are disgusting. No,
Yeah,
we can
no.
agree on that. Dill pickles.
I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
I
okay?
am, because it's
I'm
my
entitled to
microphone. I can tell you exactly, my appreciation for the sour goodness that is dill pickles.
All right.
Okay, anyway, moving forward. What were we talking about?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
your love of spicy chicken sandwiches.
Yes, without pickles on it.
Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree. So, anyway, go to Amazon, pick up, Marvel Civil War, pick up the new run of Flash, and appreciate the TV show that we're being given with Flash right now. Oh my gosh, that is like
perfect.
the perfect comic book show. Anyway,
So much fan service in 48 minutes of television every Tuesday.
it's just amazing.
What?
So, and if you don't like us talking about nerdy stuff, we warned you in the title.
I mean, it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Yeah,
The microphone.
we warned you.
Sorry.
Anyway, so Christmas is next week.
It's Christmas time in the city. I'm gonna stop singing now. Turn your phone off.
I gotta take this. Sorry about that. I had to pause the show and take an important phone call.
This is from the president.
It was from the president. Nerds United.
Kanye? that was a joke. Yeah.
That was a joke. Anyway, so Christmas is next week.
When did that happen?
I don't know.
It's actually 10 days from the recording of this episode, if you want to get specific with it.
Yeah. So you said a little while ago your grandmother got you a Kindle.
Yes.
Shout out to Gran. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so I have berated you for reading on your laptop forever.
Ever.
And now for the last few days you just walk around with this Kindle in front of your face, and it's a transformative experience, isn't it?
Yes. You can change the background color. That way that it's not too bright on your eyes in the daytime or at nighttime or whatever. That way I can shamelessly read at midnight and not feel like my retinas are going to explode. It's nice. Also, it's a lot easier to carry. Also, I keep it in the glove compartment of the car for easy access. That way when I'm at work and I'm on break, I just pull it out. Oh, yep, 4 pages done. Go back to work.
Nice.
Because that's what I do. I would probably read it while I was cooking fries if I was allowed, but I think that would be frowned upon, so I just, yeah.
Well, you may get that kind of greasy sheen on the screen.
That, and it would probably be hard to flip the pages after that, so I'm just going to not worry about that right now.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you? You got the new iPad, didn't you?
I did get a new iPad.
And you've been typing on it because...
I have, and I had to turn in a short story that I wrote for an anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote the entire thing on the iPad with a Bluetooth keyboard.
Which is still
and
so weird.
It's kind of crazy awesome.
Yeah.
Just the difference in workflow was a really freeing experience.
Is it less distraction than a real
It is.
laptop?
It is less distraction, and I'll tell you one reason it's less distraction is the iPad is Wi-Fi only.
Right.
First
No
off,
data.
No data plan on it. So if I'm away from the house, there literally is no distraction because there's no data coming in, and I can just type, and it's all good. But I did not install. Well, actually, I did install the Facebook app, but I turned off notifications, which I also did on my phone a while back. So you can check in and catch up, but one of the biggest.
It doesn't pull you in.
It doesn't pull you in, and I don't think that we realize, what a distraction hole social media can be. Not that social media is not important, and we do love to talk to people and catch up and all this kind of stuff, But man, just having it not buzz in your pocket or while you're working every 5 minutes is great. So
I can
all I'm
relate
saying,
to that.
be social, but be in control of your.
Let's put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, be social, but be in control. That's all I'm saying.
Let's give one to Preston.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We should. Preston.
Merry Christmas.
Speaking of Preston, Preston's doing 12 days.
12 legendary days of Christmas.
Yeah, and you were like day 2, I think, weren't you?
Yes, it was nice.
Yeah, so I think I'm day 7, I think he said. So
Number 7.
Did Preston start Saturday?
I believe so.
Let's see. I'll either be Friday or Saturday this week. Anyway, I'm not sure.
I haven't even read yours yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what's on yours.
Yeah. When you read it, tell me what you think about my choice of reindeer.
Okay.
But anyway,
I think you'll appreciate mine.
Yeah.
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 You see what I did there?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, just go to legendarium.com and check out the 12 legendary days of Christmas and the 10 questions with and a whole bunch of authors for the next 12 days.
Yeah.
Or 12 days starting from Saturday. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You just see the headline. You'll get it.
Yeah. Preston Lay's doing awesome stuff with his blog, and man, it's such a great resource for helping readers discover new writers and stuff. So,
oh yeah,
just we talk about Preston all the time because he's a great guy and we appreciate what he does. Thank you, Preston.
You rock.
So anyway, what do you want to talk about this week? Now that we've kind of capped the news.
Well, I suppose the responsible thing to do would be continue on with my 3-part Song of Albion journey, if you would call it that. Last week, or in the last episode, I should say, we covered the Paradise War, and today I want to talk to you about the Silver Hand.
Silver Hand.
Which, when I was 13 and I read the title, I didn't exactly understand the foreshadowing of that.
Right.
So it kind of blew my mind when I finished the story, and I'm like, oh, I get it now! Okay. This is Dad pointing at me, saying, you yell too much. Rein it in. Because it's a booger to edit that. So I'm just going to talk excitedly without, killing the microphone. So, yeah. Sorry.
I told him when he sees the waveform explode, back off.
Sorry.
Audio nerds will get that.
This is for you, Paul. Okay, so I suppose let's start at the beginning. Or maybe we should start at the very end of book 1. That way you all understand exactly where we are jumping off from. Okay, so at the end of book 1, Lewis has sent Simon back into our world. Or so he thought. He comes back to our world, and Lewis is like, great, we're back home. And Professor Nettleton's like, no, you're the only person here. Crap.
Dang it.
So Lewis goes back through the wormhole and into Albion once more. Okay, here we go. So, King Meldrin is dead and has been buried. And it is up to Tegan now, who is the only bard in the area, to decide who will take Meldrin's place. Bear in mind, Simon has been whispering in Lil Mel's ear for the past 4 or 5 years, hey, where I come from, the firstborn becomes king. So Lil Mel is like, okay, I'm going to be king now. And Tega's like, no, it doesn't work that way. We live in our world, we go by our rules.
Right.
So I'm going to pick the most worthy to become king. And Lil Mel is like, no, I'm going to be king. So Lewis comes back through the burial mound portal. He's like, guys, I'm back. And Tegan's like, you're going to be king. And Lewis is like, what?
Yeah, and bear in mind, Lewis is still, even though he's blossomed during his time on
he's
the
still a
Isle
foreigner.
of Skye,
he's got a lot to learn.
And he's still kind of scrawny, and has learned, but is not.
He doesn't look the part per se.
Yeah, or he's beginning to look the part more, but he doesn't feel the part.
He's still got a lot going on inside of him,
right?
Before he can accept his role.
Yeah.
Well, they need a king now. And there's no other person to fill that role. So Tega's like, come here. I'm going to make you king. Okay. Great. So they have this big ceremony in front of everyone where Tegan has to burn all the hair off of Lewis's body in order to purify him, emerge new, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, some kind of metaphor, symbolism stuff there. And Lil Mel and Simon are just watching like, okay, alright, they want to play, so we're going to play.
Lil Mel.
So Lil Mel and Simon and all the war band decide to tie Lewis, take it up, and throw them out. Just kick him out of the camp, exile. So Lewis and Tegan are like, okay. So Tegan says, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the sacred mound in the center of the island of Albion, Great Britain, in the center. There's a big mound.
The Isle of the Mighty.
Yes. Where there's a big mound where all the bards in all the country come together and meet once a year. Well, I'm going to call an emergency meeting and tell everyone, hey, Lewis is the rightful king. They won't accept that. Help us out. So, this big meeting of bards, and there's like 150 of them there, probably more than that. So, Tegan is making their case, and Lewis is just standing there awkwardly like, hi, I'm the king, I guess. How's it going? When they hear the thunder of hooves and horses and the battle cries of the war band, and all the bards there freak out. Now, bear in mind, this is a sacred burial ground. No one invades it. No army comes to stand on it. If you have a sword, you don't bring it on the burial mound. You have nothing on you that would indicate any type of violence. It's sacred ground. And here these guys are, riding their horses, trying to kill people. So what the bards do? They throw themselves off the mound and let the horses trample them so that they don't touch sacred ground.
Like you do.
That's devotion. That's a little much for me. Okay? I respect that. That's a little much for me. Like, I'm not going to just jump, belly flop on the ground, and let you run me over so you don't touch the grass.
Yeah. Oh, heck no.
I'm pretty sure God's going to be okay if you touch a little grass. Anyway.
But they took it seriously.
They took
it seriously.
They loved what they did, and they paid for it with their lives. So I guess that's the ultimate sacrifice for them, and that's what they would have wanted. So, alright. Well, Simon and Lil Mel come to the top of the mound, where Tegan and Lewis are the only people alive at this point. So, according to the laws of Albion, a maimed man cannot be king. Meaning that Lil Mel has to do something to Lewis in order to take that right away from him. So he chops off his hand.
Lops it right off.
Just snap. And so he turns to Tegan and said, I want you to make me king now. And Tegan makes a smart aleck comment, I will never see you as king. And Lil Mel's like, alright, you asked for it. And he takes his sword and he cuts Tegan's eyes. Blinds him. That does not sound comfortable in any way.
No.
Does not in any way, shape, or form sound anything close to okay. And then they tie them up, and they put them on a boat, and they send them off into a storm. Bye-bye.
And they're floating in the boat, and Lewis is like, I don't feel very handy now. And Tegan's like, I never saw that coming.
Stop.
I digress.
Stop. So they're in a boat for God knows how long, and they're rocking back and forth in the storm. Tegan can't see what he's doing, and Lewis only has one hand and no oars to steer the boat. So they're just sitting in there with no food, no water, but the salty water around them. And they're like, this sucks. We're going to die.
Quote.
That's how they said it. Not really. Well, miraculously, the storm ends, and they wash up on shore, alive. And they're like, great, we're alive. It's okay. Let's go get something to eat. So Lewis is like, wait, I only have one hand. Tegan can't see what he's doing. This is going to be difficult. So Lewis has to learn how to navigate and how to hunt and how to kill and how to clean an animal with only one hand. And Tegan's like, okay, where are we going? It's so dark. Where are we? It's like high noon. I know, but it's so dark. Where are we going? All right, to your left. Go to your right. So they end up in the woods. And there's this big, giant creature that they encounter. And, Tegan can't see the guy, so he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? And Lewis is like, whoa, okay, hey, hi. So the big, giant creature's like, hey, go chop me some firewood, and I'll feed you supper. And Lewis is like, I only got one hand, bro. how am I supposed to do that? He said, yeah, but you got one hand. You'll be fine. You want me to go chop your firewood with one hand? Yes. Go. Leave. Bye. Yes, sir. So Tegan's just sitting there in the presence of his giant, not knowing that he's a giant. And the guy's like, alright, tell me a story. You're a bard. And Tegan's like, okay.
Once upon a time.
So there's this big, eloquent story that you can find in the book. It's about Celtic folklore and everything. I forget exactly what the story is about, but it's a really fun story. So Lewis comes back after figuring out how to chop firewood with one hand. And so the giant's like, okay, you guys are cool. Have fun, have a nice life. Feeds him supper. Next morning, the guy's gone. And Tegan's like, I don't think that was a giant. And Lewis is like, who do you think it was? And he's like, I don't know, probably God or something. Okay. Alright.
Bran the Blessed.
Like, he's probably like God, basically. Okay, that's not weird at all. So, they travel north. And they go into the land of Caledon, which we would call Scotland now. And they find this big valley, and in the middle of the valley is a big lake. And Tegan's like, this is it. This is where we're going to make camp. This is where we're going to build your kingdom. Bruh, I have one hand, you're blind, and we have no help. How are we going to build a kingdom? They will come.
Wait, if you build it?
I was going to say it.
Beat you to it.
So, Lewis, rock by rock, starts putting together a plan for a castle in the middle of the lake. And he's like, look, this ain't working. There's no way this is going to work. You want me to build a castle on stilts and put earth and brick and wood as a platform for the castle to float on and build a city on the water.
Yeah, more than a castle.
More like a city.
Like a city floating on the lake.
And you want me to do that by myself. And Tegan's like, look, we gotta start somewhere. Well, can you at least start weaving some baskets or something? Do something? And Tegan's like, look, we're gonna have help come. I know it. I can feel it. Alright. So a few days later, what do they find but a whole bunch of outlaws and outcasts wandering through the valley, led by this guy named Bran. And Lewis is like, so, you guys are armed and probably dangerous. What's your guys' story? He's like, we're just been on the run and we have no home per se. So, you guys got any food? He's like, I'll tell you what. You help me build this castle in the city, and yeah, you don't kill us, we don't kill you. It's great. And the band of ravens helps
put it all together, and they form a sort of society out of these rogues and ragtag wanderers.
It's basically like the American melting pot, but older and in Scotland, full of outlaws and outcasts, and they come together and they build something awesome.
It's kind of like a band of merry men.
Kind of, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, or King Arthur's Round Table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's this merging of these people that come together to do something that's greater than the sum of their parts.
So over time, considering Lil Mel has established himself king, is doing a really horrible job of it. The land itself has become poisoned because there is a usurper on the throne, and as long as someone with a poisonous heart rules over the land itself will start to die.
And there's this symbiotic connection between the ruler and his land.
Now, that would be really unfortunate if that was real now. I don't want to go take a bath in the pool one day and my skin melt off. That would be unfortunate. Well, this is a real problem. The water holes are drying up all around the country, and people are moving north. And where do they find but Lewis and Tegan City? They're like, oh, great. So Lewis and Tegan are like, alright, you guys can live here, you help build your own place, you hunt for your own food, and you help contribute to everyone else. It's not every man for himself, per se, but do your own part, and we'll all take care of each other. Well, Simon and Lil Mel find out about this place, and they come wage war. So, Lewis looks around at his forces and says, okay, we've got several warriors now, and we've got a decent amount of food, we've got a decent amount of people, we got to keep them safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the battle out to another valley nearby. So Tegid is standing on the hill, and he calls down the forces of nature because he's a bard, and he's complete bad A, and he can do that because he can't see anything, but he knows enough about bard stuff where he can just, like, call up a thunderstorm and, like, whoa, he's like a wizard, but not. It's like, whoa, okay.
But then when the bard's Alwyn falls on him, he can see.
Yeah, it's like kind of it's like a sixth sense sort of
ethereal vision kind of thing.
Like he can't actually see per se, and it's kind of limited.
It's kind of like Daredevil.
That's what I was gonna say. That like
yeah, he's got that kind of Daredevil vision.
It's really hard to explain, but he can sort of see. It's like his inner eye of some sort, you know, his true sight. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Well, Lewis was like, "All right, we're gonna go marching into battle now, and we may die. Wish us luck." Well, at this point, remember Skatha from the first book? Well, she only... Let's see, how to explain this. Cause
the Wonder Woman of the book?
The Wonder Woman of the book. Remember how she had 3 daughters? Well, apparently, 2 of them are dead now. Because Lil Mel and his people are just complete jerks, and they raid the Isle of Skye, and they kill all of the daughters except for Gowan, the one that Lewis is kind of sweet on. Well, that drives Skatha and Gowan to Lou's place. We call him Lou now because that's his Celtic name. He's kind of, at this point in the story, he's kind of put aside the awkward American kid, and he's kind of growing and accepting his role as king. So, yeah.
But kind of a farmer leader of a community. He still doesn't see himself as king.
He's just more
but he sees himself as the kind of go-to leader of this pack of folks that have banded together. It's
kind of a begrudging sort of responsibility. Like, he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he has to do it, so he does it more out of necessity than pride or...
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, his sort of girlfriend and his somewhat awkward, like, mentor / possible mother-in-law come to join. So he's like, okay, we got folks here, and who comes to have a portal nearby but Professor Nettleton. With, remember those archaeologists from the first book who were the dun bad guys? Mm-hmm. Yep, here you go. Well, they make a complete idiot of themselves because they don't know what they're doing, and they don't know where they are, and they don't know how to get back home. So at this point, Lewis is just having fun with them. He's like, and he looks at Professor Nettleton, and he's like, why did you bring them here? He's like, they want to go to the portal. They want to see what's through here. So here we are. He's like, alright. So we're going to ask them some questions in our tongue. And they're going to answer the best they can. And then we're going to send them back home. We're just going to make fun of them. Like, that was... Like, was there any other point to that? Just to make fun of them. So, yeah. Lewis is like, so, where you guys come from? He's speaking Gaelic. Or, not Gaelic, but the ancient tongue. And they're like, yeah, you can go home now. So Nettleton leads them back through the portal, goes back home. This is not foreshadowing anything in the next book at all, by the way. This isn't like setting something up for book 3 at all. They just put this in here randomly for no reason. And Nettleton's like, you know what, I'm going to stay and I'm going to watch your battle. Since I know that the bad guys are coming and your guys are prepping for a big war and everything, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to help you guys out. And Lewis like, man, that's really nice of you. I like you. Remember Kenan from the first book? Kenan Mackay? Yeah.
The big redhead.
The big redhead. Well, guess who shows up at the camp just in time for battle? Hey, buddy. Remember me? We were a jerk to each other in high school. Now we're like bros? Yeah. It's kind of like real life, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lewis like, my boy, come on, let's go fight. Wait, I only have one hand. Good thing you're really good at weapons. So the day of the big battle comes, and it's Lewis, Tegid, Kenan, the Raven Warband, any other stragglers that come against Lil Mel and his warband, who has grown significantly considering they have this policy of join us or die. So a lot of guys are like, you know what, I'm going to fight for you and not get my head cut off. So there's this big epic showdown. Lewis has one hand, and like 150 stragglers versus Lil Mel and his 500 people, well-trained warriors, and they duke it out in the valley. Guess who wins? Just take a wild guess. Guess who calls down a thunderstorm and completely obliterates the other army? Guess which ragtag leader destroys the experienced warrior? Just take a guess.
It's good to have a bard on your side.
Yes. Well, eventually...
He just rolled a natural 20.
Yeah. Well, remember the lake city and how it's in the middle of a lake? The battle slowly progresses toward the lake, right? Lil Mel captures Lewis. And he's like, alright, I'm going to make an example of you in front of all your people before I kill them. So he ties Lewis up and brings him in a boat. And he tosses him into the poison water. He's like, look at your king now. He's dead. Well, where Lewis fell in the water, it's all black and murky and just like acid rain on steroids. He should be dead. But he reaches up out of the water, and where his severed hand was is now a silver hand. Get it? The title, silver hand. And now he has a silver hand. Whoa. And it's not just like a little metal prosthetic limb. No, this thing flexes and moves like a real hand.
And it's warm.
It's natural, but not. It's great. I want one. So he crawls back in the boat, and Lil Mel's like, how are you still alive? That does not make any sense whatsoever. I'm going to kill you now. So he pulls his sword, and he brings it down to Lewis to cut his head off. And Lewis reaches up with the sword, and the sword shatters. And Lil Mel's like...
It's a silver hand.
It hits the silver hand, and the sword shatters, and Lil Mel's like, what? Well, apparently the impact of the swing and the sword shattering knocks him off balance because he is standing in a boat, and you should know better than to start swinging a sword in a boat because that's just stupid. Well, he loses balance and he falls in the water, which is still poison at this time, bear in mind. And his skin melts off and he dies a terrible, horrible death. It's disgusting and it looks like something out of a horror movie, and I like that scene. It's just great. Well, Lewis is like, well, that's unfortunate. Oops, I fell. He falls in the water again. But he doesn't die. In fact, the water around him starts to grow cleaner and cleaner, and it pushes back this plague and this nastiness in the water, and the entire lake is pure, and then it spreads to the ground, and all the dying trees and all the brown grass are just rejuvenated, and everything's okay again. And then he starts coming out of the water, and he's alive, and he looks better. He looks better than he did when he went in the water, and all of his people start rushing into the water with him. And all of her wounds are healed and everything. Tegged falls in the water, and his eyes are healed. He can see naturally again. And everybody's like, oh boy. Okay. Alright. This guy, this is our king. This is it. Yep. He's going to be king now. That's game over. No contest. Congratulations. You rock. Well, bear in mind there's a whole army of corpses to go clean up now. And there are a whole lot of survivors too. Because we've killed Mildred, right? Or Lil Mel. What do we do with all his people? Well, Lewis is like, you guys are really horrible people. You've murdered and raped innocent men, women, and children. You don't deserve to live anymore. So what he did, he gave them two options. You can fall on your own sword and have a dignity of dying by your own hand, or Skatha here can chop your head off. Those are your options. You don't get exile, you don't get prison. No, you're going to die. You just get to choose how you do it. So, some of Lil Mel's warband killed themselves. Some of them have their heads cut off. And then there's Simon, who was once Lewis's very best friend, turned traitor.
Sean High.
Sean High is his warrior name now, but I'm still calling him Simon. So, he's kneeling. He's like, alright, I'm going to fall on my own sword. Give me that. And keep in mind, his feet are bound and everything. So he takes the sword, and he cuts the binding off of his feet, and he tries to run for it. And Lewis is like, no, you don't. So he takes the spear, and he throws it, and hits Simon in the chest. And as he's falling with this look of shock and despair on his face, he falls through this portal. And Simon's gone. So everybody's like, okay, Simon's dead. He's gone. Okay. We're all good, I guess. And so, end of the book. Everything's okay again. Lewis is king. and everything seems to be okay. Until next time.
The moral of this story is always beware of a happy ending at the end of the second part of a trilogy.
Yeah. Like, when everything seems to be okay, wait for the other shoe to drop.
That's right. Book 2 of the Song of Albion, Silverhand. Next week, you're going to wrap up with The Endless Knot.
Which is probably the best book in the trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, easily, hands down, one of the best books ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think after that, we're going to devote a whole show to talk about comics.
Fine with me.
Because I think we've got some interesting news and stuff to talk about when time comes around for the next show.
Oh, yes.
That's it for this week. Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys for letting me nerd out and everything. Hope you enjoyed it.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.